In the dynamic retail landscape, schema changes in your data warehouse can become a daily necessity, and the operation can quickly become lengthy and risky. First of all, intimate knowledge of the data model is required to create error-free SQL code, which anyway tends to become complex, and any flaws in it might result in a need to execute potentially costly table reloads. Without a full automation, there is typically a doubt on how to safely promote the changes to a certain runtime environment, and the documentation of changes can easily be forgotten. Today, we want to demonstrate a scenario that data engineers are all too familiar with. Schema changes in a data warehouse and publishing layer due to updates in the data sources. What we want to show specifically are two things. A new column needs to be added to the data warehouse and data loaded. Also, we have been asked to merge the content of shelf and bin columns in the retail product inventory publishing fact table. These values need to be separated by a tilde. Plus, this column should be inserted into a specific spot to allow analysts an uninterrupted user experience when querying published data. It is critical for us to leave the already loaded data in place to avoid a potentially time-consuming and costly reload. Only new data should be added. A retail company started to receive information about shelf bins from the product inventory source. In the demo, we will add a new column to the raw data warehouse table called bin, and additionally in the fact publishing table shelf and bin columns will be merged into one. They will be added in the middle of the column list, and the existing data needs to be preserved. Let's now have a look into Agile Data Engine column definitions view. That's where the changes will be done. A new column will be added within Agile Data Engine's user interface. First, an attribute name and a logical data type is defined. The column has been added at the end of column list. Let's rearrange it and simply move it after shelf column. No extra coding needed. After a column has been added, it requires a load mapping. Let's use a one-to-one column derivation in that case. Let us show you how to easily add, merge, or delete columns and add transformations. First, let's use the data lineage view to identify a publishing layer object which is fed with the product inventory data. A newly created bin column is added to the attributes list, as well as a text column called shelf bin is created. The data in the column will be values concatenated by a tilde sign. Let's use a predefined business key transformation to achieve this and add all the necessary load mappings. SQL code has been automatically generated and the column definition is standardized. There is no room for manual actions and errors. The changes can now be promoted to the database. A list of modified items in a data product is visible in the package details overview. Upon commit, the smart ADE worker checks if the deployment can be safely executed for both changes. It will also scan for any workflows which might be interfering with these specific changes. Commit is done with one click, and Agile Data Engine handles all the needed operations and generates code. The details are visible in the deployment log. While the schema changes have been deployed, the workflow definitions have been managed automatically as well. After executing the workflow, the new data is visible in the database. The bin and shelf bin columns are populated as expected. Even for this simple demo scenario, the executed SQL is few hundred lines of code. Without full automation, those changes would be prone to errors and individual development styles. And here we go. In just a few simple steps, we were able to make the required schema changes. As discussed earlier, they might look simple on the surface, but they can be very time-consuming if not done in the right way. ADE allows us to safely enter all changes via a common user interface that spans multiple different cloud databases. Efficient and minimally evasive SQL code was automatically created and documented. ADE, in effect, provided guardrails that dramatically limit the room for human error. Promotion of the updates was fast and reliable. Our business stakeholders were able to continue with their daily work. There was no downtime. And that concludes our demo of the powerful modeling capabilities within the Agile Data Engine platform.